What movie did you do and why?
I did The Empire Strikes Back because, like the snake in the bush, there are a lot of sneaky character details inside of the story. Lando Calrissian, he betrayed Han Solo and turned him into Darth Vader because he was under threat. That was his best friend. And now we see Darth Vader. Like hiding the detail from Luke Skywalker until he was about to kill him about him being his actual father. There are a lot of sneaky details, like Professor Snape in the bush. So, if we really understand the complexity of the story, then you can think this story to be the best of the stories because the story is storying. Lando Calrissian failed to sacrifice for Han Solo when he actually betrayed his best friend for many years to keep the Empire off his back. Now, he was under threat of the Empire because they wanted to enforce some policies on them, which would restrict their mining operations and would actually kind of affect their sovereignty because they were technically almost like a sovereign island from the Empire. And yet, now the Empire was now restricting this because under the threat that they were going to take them over completely. So what they had to do in order to get back was betray Han Solo. Now, what Lando Calrissian could have done for a sacrifice was he could have turned the Empire down and started to fight back with the rebellion, but instead he turned in his best friend for many years. So by doing this, he failed to sacrifice for Lando Calrissian, or for Han Solo. Now, a foolish sacrifice that was made in The Empire Strikes Back was Luke Skywalker was advised against not to go to Sky City by Obi-Wan and Yoda. But however, Luke Skywalker went anyway in order to save his companions because he thought they were a pretty good, friend. And so he loved them, and so he went and sacrificed for them. And so even though he was advised against not going to Sky City, he went there anyway as part of his sacrifice. And so when Lando Calrissian did this, he failed to do it. But when Luke Skywalker did this, he did it, but he was a foolish one because he ended up losing his hand and starting to get attacked. Now another sacrifice that was made was Han Solo. This was a noble sacrifice that was made. Han Solo, he was able to go to Princess Leia and he said, I know, after she responded, I love you. And so this sacrifice that he made was able to deter the Empire from killing the rest of his companions. Because if he hadn't done that sacrifice, the Empire would have actually killed his companions. So this sacrifice was a very noble sacrifice. So we have 3 sacrifices in this film. We have a foolish one, a failed one, and a good one. The Empire Strikes Back has one of the most iconic sound scores of all time. Written by John Williams, I think it may be the greatest part of this film. This film technique engulfs a person into a story, and it makes them feel like they're in this universe. The Imperial March was also introduced in this film, and it is one of the most iconic soundtracks of all time. So that's why I think this is one of the most important cinematic techniques in the film. The costume design in The Empire Strikes Back is one of the most important costume design in the entire franchise because this is where you get established to the bounty hunter Boba Fett. Now, what looks like a random design on the story and the costume actually starts to formulate a whole new storyline that actually impacts us today with whole new movies and whole new TV shows just based on this. In 2 weeks, the new Mandalorian film comes out, which is based on the costume design made in this film. Also, you see in Luke's costume is his robe starts to look more battle-like. This symbolizes his transition from a farm boy from Tatooine to more of a battle figure, where he's actually fighting wars on the planet of Hoth and fighting battles against people in space. Yeah. The lighting of The Empire Strikes Back shows a sharp amount of contrast between the two worlds that the main part of the story exists on. The first one is where the planet where Yoda resides, which is a dark swamp which is eluded with the Force. The second one is Sky City, where Lando Calrissian is, and this is a rich mining planet. However, this is where most of the dark deeds are taking place, because that's where Darth Vader is going to go and get Lando Calrissian to betray his best friend Han Solo. So contrasted to the dark abyss of the powerful Force planet that Yoda resides on, compared to this bright Sky City where a lot of dark deeds are going, it's almost like it averts your expectations of what is really going on in this world, because there's a different existence in each world of a dark presence versus a bright presence. The Force being very powerful in the swamp,
while there being a dark sense of betrayal on Sky City. So Leiden is a very important attribute of this film.
The most iconic scene in all of film history is within this film. It is so engraved within our culture that it is the most iconic line ever spoken in a film, and that is the "I am your father" scene by following the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker duel. During the filming process, the only two actors that really knew about this was actually Mark Hamill and James Earl Jones. The actors were Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And so imagine Harrison Ford's surprise when you hear "I am your father" instead of "Obi-Wan killed your father," which was the original line. This element of surprise tied into it where the only two people were George Lucas. Sorry, I forgot what George Lucas, Mark Hamill, and James Earl Jones. Knowing this, the element of surprise and the overall unexpectedness of this turn is one of the most iconic in human history. This movie holds a lot of meaning to me. I feel like, I grew up a Star Wars kid. I thought it was like a really cool thing, and this is one of the most moving films that you'll watch. It's like a story of coming of age, and I think this is where Luke really starts to take his hold, and I think it's the best film, probably one of the best films ever made, probably following The Godfather or other classic films. But no, I think this is one of my favorite films of all time, and I just really like this film, and it's impacted a lot.